Do you know, by the way, that you have Korean on your shirt?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I do. I don't just think it shapes. I am aware. I
Is
believe
that is that
it
a
says Orioles in
it does
Korean.
okay.
I think it was a giveaway because I think they had a Korean player,
Ah,
and this isn't even though I have some official Orioles stuff. This was like I found it at a thrift store,
mm,
and I like baseball and I
yeah.
like all variations on baseball, and it's a weird one because normally like if it they wouldn't say Orioles normally.
Mm,
You have to. It's sort of like so I'm part of a bad guy wrestling group, and we're the Lasagna Club, and you have to use a different set of like markings to say lasagna because
mm,
there is no word
right.
in there is no word for lasagna
Mhm.
in I believe I did that one in Japanese. So this one is like it's not like phonetic exactly, but it
Gotcha.
actually from what I've been told by people is it says lasagna. No,
Gotcha.
excuse me. It says Orioles. Not just like bird, it says like Orioles, you know what I
Like
mean?
phonetically Orioles or
Yeah, and
or
the back it has the player's name on it
his
too.
name. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Orioles also did the thing that everyone made fun of them for, but I still think it's pretty cool, where they did their logo in Braille on
Mhm.
their uniforms. And they're like, well, who's going to feel it? Well, I mean, that's not the point.
Yeah,
They're showing that it can be in different languages and trying to a level. Maybe it was a little bit misled, but also you got to try stuff. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like you gotta give an idea. And it's a good looking logo. Like it looks good. So
Yeah,
if I
that's
could
awesome.
find the Braille um, jersey, I probably would wear the Braille jersey.
Well, I think at some point we're going to do a deep dive into your lasagna club, but the purpose of
Yeah,
today's
that makes
episode,
sense.
yeah,
What?
the purpose of today's episode is different.
Yeah, purpose of today's episode is for us to do a deep dive into ourselves. That's probably could have been worded better. Um,
Nah, I like that.
yeah,
I'm good with that.
it takes synthetic coffee break takes a deep dive into itself. Um, so yeah, we're
So
gonna look at Zodiac one and talk about Zodiac one because Zodiac three just came out.
that's right.
So we're gonna look at Capricorn and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. I know we've covered this before in the past, but the thing about Capricorn, one of the things I think makes it legit interesting. Oh wait, sorry, let's shut up for a second. I need to shut the hell up.
Hello,
Hi,
Brandon.
Andrew.
Does that count? Is that at the same time?
Oh yeah, it counts. I didn't know you said it at the same time. That's cute. That's super cute.
All right.
Start that timer. Here we go.
I missed that old one. Andrew, start that timer. I think we should combine them. So
Andrew, start that. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Brandon. It's Andrew, start that timer. Is that
yeah,
what you
yeah,
want me to say?
yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, cool. Done. That'll be in
All
the
right.
next
Awesome.
one. Technically that's a new rule. We haven't missed one, but we've been real close. So,
We have, yeah. Exactly.
and we've talked about this. This is our 1 year uh anniversary episode, even though we've been doing it for longer than a year. I think both of us looked at the we both looked at it at some point and went, "Oh, we've done a year of this now. So we've done this for a year. We've done Zodiac for probably a year and a half, I guess."
Yeah, I think a little bit longer, but but yeah, Zodiac for at least a year and a half. The podcast for about a year, and even episode wise, I think we're up to I think this will be 57 maybe.
Yeah, because we've only
So
missed like one or two episodes. So
yeah, so even like counting episodes, it's been well one a week is what I'm thinking, not three, not one per day, but
no, we have not done. We're not going to do that.
no,
You couldn't. I would not do a one a day podcast if it was a minute long. That still seems
no,
too
no.
much. If it was just a minute, it'd be like, hey guys, it still seems once a week. Tell nobody about it. If anybody ever shows up, deny it ever existed.
Exactly.
Solid. 15 minutes. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little screen share
yeah,
here.
you're gonna share that image.
Mhm.
We're gonna try to do the old image share, see if everything holds together.
Yeah.
So the thing about Zodiac one is in Capricorn is it wasn't really Yonko at that point.
Hmm.
It wasn't Capricorn. It wasn't Zodiac. It was I just finished curating 10,000 images, or just about finished. I
Hmm.
feel like saying just finished is a little bit of a misnomer. I might have, but I
No,
finished
you
that.
had finished it. Yeah, and it.
Yes, but like I think I was like 11,000 in at that point, so I was like a year,
Oh
like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a little bit past that.
Gotcha.
We were at the back end of the pandemic. or the being locked down is what I should say. And hey, babe, come here. You can be on. Ugh. So we are on the back end of the pandemic, and we are
Mm,
all still kind of. If you were working in the arts industry, especially the performing arts industry, you were kind of jobless. You were starting to get work back, but there's these bizarre gigs. Like I don't think so. In that is where Zodiac comes from. I had an idea that I started with someone else
mm,
that didn't end up being anything. Still like working with them, but we just couldn't quite coordinate it. But it was, I will send you an image and then you send me a song back, and then I'll send you an image. And then after X amount of time, we sort of have, and I don't like to say, like, I view it like this, but I'm a little embarrassed that I view it like this. After that amount of time, we have a product. How do you view it, Andrew?
uh, yeah, I think I think it's very similar, and I think I also have sort of the same trepidation of wanting to describe it that way, but I think it is kind of like we've sort of modeled it that way, and it's definitely kind of changed a little bit. But I think when it first started, and it's probably worth saying that I originally came to you like with a completely different idea
Hmm.
that we don't have to worry about now because it'll take a more time than it's really needed. But
Yep.
I'm really glad that you suggested this idea because it really provided this outlet, especially that was really needed at that time, just to have
Hmm.
some sort of connection with somebody to create art and create music. And it was something new. I've collaborated with other people in the past, but this was a new way of collaborating and also a different timeline of collaborating as well. And it just was something that I really needed at that time. And honestly, like still need now, like as Brandon mentioned, we just put up Pisces, and it's been a few months since we've been doing this again because we've been sort of working on other projects. And just this week, we're kind of starting on part 4. And it
Hmm.
just feels really good to have that start again. Because when we didn't have it for the last couple months, I really missed it. So it's something that I think really provides just a nice creative outlet and a nice creative routine for me, I think also as part of what it is.
Yeah, getting those emails in your email is always getting with all now. I don't remember what it was when we first started,
Mhm.
but I know now it just says movement,
Yeah,
not like the name, and that's all we get. That's all you send
yeah,
back and forth. There is no further discussion that happens with it. It's just sort of you get the piece and then you react to the piece.
yeah.
Um, just
And
out
even
of,
that
I'm sorry.
and even that was sort of like one of those things that just sort of happened. Like a lot of the rules that we created are just rules that kind of just happen, but naturally, with what we were doing.
Yes, that was like the that's the thing I think is so interesting about Zodiac 1 is there's stuff in here that I don't think I would put in Zodiac 2 or 3
Mhm.
that is sort of outside the rules now.
Yeah.
But we're still establishing it. So the very first image was this, and
Hmm.
this is something I made not for Zodiac.
Hmm.
Um, I made that and just sent it to you, and then you came back with sort of this noir, um, dark,
Hmm.
ambient like piece. And do you want to talk about what happened when you got this piece?
Well, so I mean, this was the very beginning. So it was, I think a lot of the stuff in Capricorn is, I feel like at least on my part, really just sort of getting a sense of the kind of language that I wanted to use.
Hmm.
And so when I took a look at this, it just had this very ominous feel. It did like it had the cityscape, so it felt very noir kind of thing, um, and so it just and a lot of times, and this is also something that happens, I think, with most of the art that you send me, is I kind of imagine some sort of movement in it.
Hmm.
So in this case, like I'm imagining the clouds moving across, and then the moon kind of rising, and then this ominous face that's kind of looking down over the city, and kind of what's going on, what kind of story is being told, and also especially in Capricorn, I would just sort of like walk around, sort of thinking about the image, looking at the image, and kind of imagining what kind of sounds, and then try to try to create them,
Mhm.
within whatever effects and tools that I had, so
Mhm.
this one, like the first one actually was uh is probably one of the most simple ones that I've done, just because I was just getting started, and I just wanted to see where it was going to go,
Mhm. Absolutely.
so
So if you can you go to the second image, Andrew?
yeah.
So I want to point this out. There's a lot of stuff we can say with this. A lot of the things I do for Capricorn, that I did for Capricorn at the time, and I sort of still do this. They're more complicated than they need to be.
Mhm.
Um, oh, and on one of the stickers, there's one of the stickers that I put out for this, and it says "last"
Mhm.
as one of the words, and very clearly it should be "vast." I got that wrong, and I still find that very frustrating.
Oh no. Wait,
Uh,
so oh, you mean like one of the stickers
Yeah,
that
because
the QR codes?
every for a continuity's sake with the rest
Yeah.
of my work, every piece in Capricorn, every piece in this is also part of a bigger piece of the
Yeah.
four-letter word project, which is also part of a bigger piece, which is trying to accumulate 30,000 images.
Mhm.
And you've let me do that, and I really appreciate
Mhm.
that. But one of the things is you'll see, I think it's only in this one, and it's part of it. It's the speed, and also part is I didn't know what I was doing, and that you can't double back. So if you look in
Mhm.
the right corner, right
Mhm.
where top bottom corner,
Oh, bottom. Okay.
yeah, that little white spot right there isn't. I didn't see that. I work on a
Mm.
black background, and I
Okay.
think I accidentally erased it. And when
Okay.
it sends anything that is clear as white. So in some of the stuff in this one, I I ended up watching the video back, however months, probably 3 months. Usually
Yeah.
a cycle takes about 3 months.
Mhm.
I ended up getting the images back and having them be like wrong and having them not how I saw them.
Oh
But at
wow.
that
Okay.
point, it was done. You know what I mean? It was like you
Yeah.
had to let it go. Also, if you go to the do you want to
Yeah.
talk about this specifically, or do you mind going to the next image?
No. Yeah. Let's go for it.
That white line is just where I screwed up. I just screwed up. I just made a mistake. And
This one over here.
there's yeah, that line right
Yeah.
there. And like in some ways, I am very frustrated by this.
Mhm.
And in others, like that was what this one was. It was really fast and
Yeah.
dirty. Um, This is the I always call it a decapitated hand. That's not
Mhm.
what it is, but I the decapitated hand has shown
Yeah.
up in all
Yeah.
three. It's one of the through lines that is in all three.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that it has become a through line, because actually this is from Capricorn. This is one of my favorite images. I really like
Mhm.
the whole hand. And actually, I was always wondering about that, actually, why you chose to do that, or if it was on purpose.
No,
Um,
it wasn't. It's an accident.
yeah.
I also, but in that accident, I think that sometimes you have to let go of the reins a little bit.
I agree, yeah, because there's a lot of that, I think, in Capricorn, that I feel the
Mhm.
same way about, just because, for the same reason, it was just kind of experimenting. And the pace of it that you just mentioned, that was something that, that's another thing that I've never collaborated with somebody, on that sort of like fast-paced scale. And that really, I think this is only the third image, so this is probably like 1 or 2 weeks in,
Mhm.
and still kind of getting used to this fast-paced back and forth. There's definitely a lot of things that, and I think at this point I'm kind of used to it, and I can get a lot more done
Mhm.
than I did before. But but yeah, I definitely remember at that time, like, holy crap, I just sent him some music, and he just and then he's already sending me back. I was like, what is going on here? I definitely
Yeah.
remember that feeling.
Well, there was one. I think it took you like so the thing about Capricorn that is different than the rest is it was much more, at least in my mind, and it was friendly, but it's chilled out a lot. It was a
Mhm.
lot more combative than the other ones we've done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Um, we weren't doing the podcast at the time, so we weren't talking once a week.
Mhm.
I don't think we spoke in any real way
No.
about it to each like we didn't speak while doing it. It
Right.
was just the art being sent back and forth.
Mhm.
And I know that I think it was somewhere in the middle of this. I don't remember what it was. And you took like 3 days to send me a
Mhm.
piece. And I was like, oh, I'm going to show him. And I sent back a piece within like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like it was, it was, it was, it was competitive. It
Yeah.
was fierce, and it was friendly, but it
Yeah.
had an edge to it that our later work does not have. Our later work nowadays
Mhm.
has like, hey, when are you gonna take care of this? Oh yeah, I need to knock that out. Okay, cool. I'll walk that.
Yeah.
This piece was like radio silence, except
Yeah.
for we just sent the art pieces back and forth, and like maybe once a week went,
Yeah.
hey, hope you're doing good, buddy. And that was it for this.
Yeah.
And I think out of the three, Capricorn has the darkest tone of
Mhm.
everything.
It does. Yeah.
There's some stuff that is in Leo that's kind of dark too, but not sort of this level of brooding noirish
Yeah.
sci-fi thing.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, this is all looking at it in retrospect, which is kind of fun doing, which is one of the reasons it's fun to talk about it and do it this way, because,
Hmm.
um, it's, I think you can really put it in context. I mean, like, that's definitely part of, um, how I was feeling at that time.
Hmm.
And even partly through Leo as well. I mean, I think with the pandemic, it was kind of interesting, and because like pretty early on, people were talking about like mental health stuff, and actually like when the pandemic first happened, I was like, oh, I'm fine, and like I'm enjoying this actually. Like I'm enjoying like being isolated for a while, like but then it eventually caught up to me, of course, and definitely at this time, this was definitely sort of a dark place. And it's interesting kind of listening, because you can, because we're doing them once a week, or well, really twice a week, or sometimes three
Hmm.
times a week. Like you can really hear, I think in my mind, you can hear the progression of how things have changed. I think in at least my life, and I don't want to speak for you or anything or anybody else, but like definitely I can hear how my mental state has changed, I think, in a lot of ways. So
I think you can see it. I think there are some images in this one specifically
mhm.
where like I look back on it now and I'm like, and like Leo is a very different animal.
Yeah.
um in the fact that it's a much more controlled thing. This one has stuff in it where I'm like, not embarrassed isn't the right word, but I feel kind of revealed.
Hmm.
Because it's like I made stuff where I went, that's a lot. Like
Yeah.
there's an image in here that we'll go over probably in part two, because we're almost out of time, Andrew.
Oh,
uh yeah,
okay.
yeah, I told you we're doing these in two. We are set for at least 2 months, which is very
It
exciting.
is, yeah. Well, yeah,
uh
and we don't have to stop recording even. We can just
do you want to reset? So wait, do you
oh
want to
yeah, well, actually we do
reset
have to do that. So
so that we
okay.
don't have to do the thing? We'll come back. I also want to get a cup of coffee real quick.
Okay, that's no problem. All right. Well, hey everybody, come back next week and we'll continue talking about Capricorn.
Yeah, next week, and then maybe the week after that, and then maybe the week after that, and then
Who
maybe the week
knows?
after that. And then eventually the next one's gonna come out. We're just gonna flip over straight to that.
Exactly. All right. Peace.
Good job.